Iran launching a massive aerial attack on Israel. The moment an Iranian missile struck Tel Aviv. 7 people were injured in that strike. The Israeli military saying that their entire nation is now under fire. The United States military is helping intercept Iran's missiles and drones, a source confirms to CNN. And at this hour, the Israeli prime minister is warning this isn't over.
More is on the way. The regime doesn't know what hit them. They don't know what will hit them. The nation of Iran and the nation of Israel have been true friends since the days of Cyrus the Great. And the time has come for you to unite around your flag and your historic legacy by standing up for your freedom from an evil and oppressive regime.
Welcome to our viewers in the United States and around the world. CNN is covering this breaking news from all angles across the globe. Oren Lieberman's live for us in Jerusalem. Jeremy Diamond is in New York. Fred Pleitgen standing by in Berlin. He actually just returned from Iran. Kristen Holmes is at the White House, and we're also going to be joined by Colonel Cedric Leighton. Oren, I do want to start with you. You've been reporting throughout the night, occasionally from a bomb shelter. Take us through what's been unfolding in Israel and what you expect.
Well, we're now out of that bomb shelter, Casey, and back in our bureau here on the 3rd floor in the building from which the CNN office operates here. And it is almost, looking back here behind me, a bizarre sight given how quiet it is late Friday night here in Jerusalem. That's because we spent much of the past hour and a half or so in a bomb shelter in the basement when the Israeli military and Home Front Command warned of incoming Iranian ballistic missile fire, sending not only us here in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv, but effectively all across the country into bomb shelters for just about an hour here as 2 barrages of ballistic missiles, dozens of missiles in both cases, according to the Israeli military, were incoming. A short while ago, Israel's military spokesperson, Brigadier General Efi Defrin, said there were, in his words, less than 100 missiles fired. There were a few hits, meaning a few were able to penetrate Israel's air defenses, and there were obviously intercepts. We saw that play out in the skies over Tel Aviv and over central Israel, where not only is much of the population based, but there are also very significant military bases, the Ministry of Defense, Mossad headquarters in that area as well. And that's where we have seen Iran target in the past and where it appears they tried to target once again. Some of those missiles intercepted by Israel's air defenses, and we saw shrapnel falling down on the streets of Tel Aviv and in other places. There were reports of damage to buildings, damage to some cars, and shrapnel all across the streets there. Crucially, the Israeli military spokesperson gave a warning that there may be more incoming rocket fire throughout the course of the night, and the population is instructed to stay near bomb shelters. Immediately when Israel began its attack on Iran, some 14, 15 hours ago or so at this point, roughly 3:30 in the morning last night, the first warning was that there may be an imminent retaliation. It took some time, it took more than 12 hours, but that retaliation, at least the beginning of it, we saw play out as we were ordered to go to bomb shelters over the course of the past hour. As you pointed out, Israel's emergency responders, Magen David Adom, which is effectively the equivalent of the Red Cross locally, say there were 7 injuries, 1 moderate, largely from shrapnel as a result of the incoming rocket fire. It is worth pointing out that it is still only in the first, give it an hour or so after the incoming rocket fire, so we'll wait to see if that number goes up. And again, crucially, there is an expectation that more may be coming. Israel had warned before now that the Iranian retaliation could be well beyond what we saw back in April or October, meaning more than 100 ballistic missiles, potentially drones as well. And we did see some drones launched earlier today, the vast majority of which were intercepted before they got to Israel's airspace. But this may not be the end of it, and that works both ways. Israel expects may launch more ballistic missiles, potentially more drones. And Israel has warned, we heard Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu say it right at the top of the show, that Israel is also prepared to carry out more strikes in Tehran. After early this morning, they went after the Natanz nuclear enrichment facility, a number of targets throughout neighborhoods in Tehran, ballistic missiles, surface-to-air missiles, and decapitated much of Iran's military leadership and some of the top nuclear officials in the country. I will point out one more thing as we wait here. We have heard from U.S. officials that the U.S. helped intercept the incoming ballistic missile fire. The U.S. made clear that Israel was acting at least offensively when it carried out these strikes on its own. But now that it comes to the defense of Israel, we are seeing U.S. troops get involved there, and that is likely U.S. THAAD batteries, terminal high-altitude area defenses that would work in cooperation with Israel's own air defenses to try to intercept what were two waves of Iranian attacks as the country braces for any more that might come, not only tonight, but in the coming days.
All right, Oren Lieberman, stand by for us. Thank you for that great reporting. And we should just note we are looking at live pictures right now on the ground from Tel Aviv. But I do want to bring in Kristen Holmes. She's live for us at the White House. Kristen, I understand you have new reporting on a call between President Trump and the Israeli Prime Minister.
Yeah, that's right. We were just learning that Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump spoke earlier today. Now, no details of what exactly they talked about, but this comes after a U.S. official told me that, in fact, the U.S. is helping assist Israel with those incoming missiles. They noted to me that there are hundreds of thousands of American citizens that they feel they have to protect in Israel, as well as U.S. military assets. This is also coming after we learned that yesterday Donald Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu were in constant contact, had multiple phone calls, including before those strikes on Iran. That was news given that we were told by a number of people that the U.S. was not involved. Now, the U.S. still says that they were not involved in the actual strikes, that Israel acted unilaterally. However, this communication timeline obviously changes the idea of the U.S. or Israel informing the U.S. and the U.S. talking Israel through what was happening. Now, there are still a lot of questions about what this means moving forward. Remember, Donald Trump and the administration's really big goal here is to get a deal, an Iranian nuclear deal. And there was the sixth round of talks on Sunday in Oman with the Middle East envoy, Steve Witkoff. We are told that the administration is still hoping for a sixth round of talks with the Iranians. Now, there are still a lot of U.S. officials who are casting doubt that this can happen given these strikes, but you're hearing from Donald Trump repeatedly on social media today and in calls with reporters where he's saying that the Iranians need to come to the table, that everyone has essentially been killed or wiped out, and that it's going to be too late if they don't make a deal as soon as possible. So he clearly believes, and the administration believes, that this could give them an edge. These strikes could give them an edge in this process. Unclear whether or not that's actually going to play out the way that they want it to, but that is what we are seeing unfold, at least from the U.S. side and from the White House side.
All right, Kristen, stand by for me. I actually want to go straight back to Oren Lieberman in Tel Aviv because we're getting some updated reporting about the injuries there in Israel. Oren, what are you learning?
We just got an updated number from Magen David Adom. Again, that's effectively Israel's Red Cross, and the number of injuries that have come in from the incoming Iranian ballistic missiles. The latest update is there are 17 injured that we know of so far, based on Magen David Adom. In Tel Aviv, 1 moderately injured, 3 lightly injured, and then in a city called Ramat Gan, which is also in the central Israel area, 2 seriously injured, 1 moderately injured, and 10 lightly injured. There are also some statements from hospitals on men and women admitted as a result of the incoming ballistic missile fire. So again, as I had said, the initial number of 7 was only the first, effectively the first number as emergency responders got out there and evaluated the results of these strikes. This is a number that could continue to rise, but we will certainly keep an eye on it. Again, the latest right now that we have from Magen David Adom, and let me see if I can get you a time on this. This is just 10 minutes ago, are 17 injured, 2 seriously, a couple moderately, and then the others lightly injured. And we will keep an eye on that number as the evening progresses here.